Do you want to find out what skilled trade professionals actually make working in the field these days? You may be finding out that doing a Google search on popular skilled trades gives you mostly BS in results.
What did you say?
Wait a minute.
In this short video, I'm going to share some information with you that the mainstream media, our public schools, and even some private schools will almost never tell you. Maybe you've done some college. You've already tried out the college experience and you found out after all the hype and hoopla that the college experience is just not for you. So you're looking for something different.
Oh, that happened to me once.
Hey, something like that happened to me once.
That was me.
Or maybe you're getting ready to graduate high school and you're starting to get the age-old question, so what would you like to do for the rest of your life? Or what are you going to do after you graduate? Or what kind of career path are you going to take?
Some friendly advice?
Get yourself a job.
I'll get a job when you get a job.
Get a job!
Inevitably, talking about skilled trades now, you may be getting input from people like, are you sure that you can make a living doing that as a plumber or an electrician, that type of thing? Well, you may be one of the millions of Americans that are experiencing that, you know, college is just not for you, and you want to look at something that pays great wages and can give me good fulfillment and great life balance.
Does that sound good to you?
Well, that sounds good.
Well, in the next few minutes, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to cover some stuff that you'll rarely hear about. Before we do, though, I want to give you one pro tip.
Pro tip.
The information I'm going to share with you in this video is going to be a data point. And what I mean by that is, don't believe me. Get your own research done. If you can, if possible, try to find some people that are skilled trade professionals that have been at it for a while and ask them, ideally, face-to-face questions like, what do you make? What's the career path like? What's your work-life balance like? Are you generally happy? Is there room for growth once I learn this trade? That type of thing. Now, if you don't happen to have access to people that work in skilled trades, there's a place for you, especially right here. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a way to connect with a very large and growing community of skilled trade professionals that want to help you with your journey. So stick around and I'll give you some more information on that.
Would that help?
Because that helps.
That's awesome.
We've selected 4 different skilled trades, and we selected them on 3 criteria. The first is wages. We want to make sure that these are high-paying wage jobs. The second one is apprenticeship programs, and this is one thing that you should not take lightly. Apprenticeship programs are amazing because you typically get paid while you're working, and in many cases the apprenticeship learning, what it takes to learn a trade, is paid for in full or part by your employer. Now contrast that to a 4-year degree. You have to pay up front for it before you get your diploma, and many times your parents or you yourself are going to rack up tens of thousands of dollars in debt that you must repay before you graduate. And thirdly, we selected these because they're highly in-demand jobs. So there's been shortages reported for many years, sometimes decades. So that's one of the major reasons why we selected these 4 trades. So let's get started and take a look. The first one you probably haven't thought of about too much: escalator and elevator installation and repair technician. So if you've ever been to an airport, ridden up the escalator, or you've gone in a high-rise building and you got to go up and down and not take the stairs, that's what these people do. They fix these things, they install these things, and they're critical because you definitely, when you go up to a high-rise and you're up 40 stories, you want to make sure that the elevator is working correctly, right? Well, these guys do pretty well. The median wage for these folks is about $98,000 for private sector work and around $125,000 for public sector or prevailing wage projects.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Now, if you don't know what a prevailing wage project is, stick around for a few minutes. At the end of this video, I'll tell you what that's all about. And number 2 is the electricians. These folks keep the lights on. If you do a Google search or go on Twitter or respond to a text, all the data centers that keep that information flowing have to be electrified. If they're not, it's not working anymore. So these folks are very, very important to our economy and our world. Median wage for these folks at the public sector level is about $72,000 per year. And in prevailing wage or public projects, you're looking at about $115,000 per year.
I had no idea.
It's a lot of dough.
Lot of dough.
Number 3 is our plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters. These folks do pretty well, coming in for private sector jobs at about $60,000 per year. And for public sector or prevailing wage projects, they're making around $90,000 a year. Now, one thing I'd like to point out, the plumbers themselves are kind of a breakout item. These folks, they work in service sector quite a bit. They're highly in demand. So if you're in a major market like New York or LA or San Francisco, Philadelphia, you name it, these folks make well above $100,000 per year working in the private sector. So this is a very, very lucrative trade to get into. And lastly, number 4, but definitely not least, my favorite, heating, air conditioning, ventilation, and refrigeration. These folks keep you cool during the summer. They keep you warm during the wintertime. They keep things ventilated, and they keep all the stuff in your grocery store cool. They make about $82,000 a year in the private sector and about $118,000 a year in the public sector. Not too bad.
Not bad, right?
Not bad, right? I had no idea.
So I want to talk about prevailing wage. What that is the Davis-Bacon Act. This was a law that was approved in 1931 by Congress and signed into law. And basically what this law does is it sets prevailing wages for public works projects. It's that simple. So if a job is funded in part or in full by our government, the U.S. government, the labor on that job has to be paid prevailing wage. And this filters down to state jobs as well as some city jobs. Now, why this is relevant to what we're talking about today is the Bureau of Labor Statistics that publishes most of the wage data. It's highly disseminated through the internet. They do not consider prevailing wages as part of their data.
Wait, what?
Wait. What? What's he saying?
Wait.
So what this has a tendency to do is provide a false narrative that skilled trades don't pay much. And this has been a problem, and there's many issues with BLS.gov that Skilled Trade Rescue is working on, but this is a major headwind. So when you're looking at wages, you want to keep in mind that the wage data that you see online is anywhere between 30 and 60% lower than reality. So that's something that should factor into your research. Before we go, I mentioned earlier about getting information. So like I said, don't take our word on it. Make sure you do your own research. And ideally, if you can get some face time with folks in your community that work in skilled trades, that's the best source of information. It's going to definitely be the most accurate. If for whatever reason, maybe you come from a college family and you just don't have anybody in your family that does skilled trade work, I'm going to give you a resource. So if you go to skilledtraderescue.com, go to the Discover page, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see our forum. Now, the cool thing about this is you can surf it. You don't have to register or anything like that. And you can look at some of the questions that have already been asked and some of the responses that have been posted. And if you want to take the next step, you can register for it. We never sell your email address. And you can ask your own question. And I think you'll be surprised as to how open some of the skilled trade pros that participate in the forum are. And I think you'll get some really great information, stuff that you wouldn't expect and you definitely won't get by doing your own online research. So I would definitely check that out. Well, that's all we have right now. Thanks for stopping in and checking this video out. Surf the site at skilledtraderescue.com. There's a lot of great information in here. Check out our podcast. Get part of the discussion if you're seriously considering skilled trades. We'd love to have you aboard, and welcome to the community.